At half of the press. Well, my people, me here for drop the real news, news, reviews, everything in a one right this or right there, my people. So all I want to know to do is like up the video, share out the video, subscribe to my channel, my people. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Let's get right into it.
A corrupt government cannot liberate the people. If the head of the stream is corrupt, the entire river will be also.
A blessed good day to you, my wisdom warriors. Wagwan. I hope you guys are doing great. Well, a policeman was shot and killed a short while ago at his home on Claremont Drive in Old Harbour, St. Catherine. The deceased has been identified as Police Corporal Main. He was assigned to the Kingston West Police Division. Main's firearm was reportedly stolen. My wisdom warriors, when you hear them something here we are going now, you know, say other day, a prophet come out and I say a whole heap of police are go dead. Mighty God of Daniel, I just want to say rest in peace and my condolence goes out to the family. A man was fatally stabbed in Whitby near Mile Gully in Manchester after he reportedly attacked another man with a knife on Thursday. Police named the deceased as 29-year-old Omar Stewart, otherwise called Brando, a resident of Mile Gully. Human rights advocacy group Jamaicans for Justice has welcomed today's Supreme Court ruling, which declared the government use of multiple states of emergency between 2018 and 2023 unconstitutional, while expressing disappointment in the Holness-led administration plan to appeal the decision. My wisdom warriors, like really and truly, them only waste taxpayers' money. Them only wasting taxpayers' money for try to prove a point, but nothing not going to come out of it. Nothing not going to come out of it because Andrew Holness knew what he did was wrong. And Marlene Malaho, who claims that she a constitution minister, she sit there and she did nothing. And then she want turn around and reform our constitution. Make it make sense. Like literally, make it make sense. So, to be quite honest, I welcome it also. I welcome it. I'm sure no one said the whole of the wisdom warriors welcome it too. And me have to really laugh when me hear Andrew Holness administration talk about them I go appeal. Appeal what? Like appeal what? Una just go waste taxpayer money when whole heap of people in the country need help, need support. A lot of people is homeless. A lot of people need food. Seriously, take the money and give to the people them. We not always out here and waste with money. Take the money and give to the people them of Jamaica, people that is in need. Give them money every 2 weeks or weekly on a weekly basis. Help them so they can go back on them feet. And that you no need to do. You know out here talk about you go appeal, you go appeal. You now win no case because you never win a case yet. Jamaica is searching for a new Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP. The Office of the Service Commission has advertised the Chief Prosecutorial post as the incumbent Paula Llewellyn prepares to demit office in September. Llewellyn has served as DPP since 2008. She's the first woman to hold the post. My wisdom warriors, I'm glad she left. I'm glad she left. You know, I don't really understand why she even come back. I don't really understand fully why she come back. But my wisdom warriors, you know, so me always go with my instinct. Me feel so them bring her back because something need to be done. You hear me? Something need to be done. This is why Delroy Chuck go fight. You see how Delroy Chuck go out and fight for her? But when it come to the picnic them in Jamaica, Delroy Chuck not fight for them, you know. Because I know Delroy Chuck no come out and say nothing quiet like a lamb. I know when I hear Delroy Chuck say he might go make the sex offender registry go public. I know when I hear him. We now hear Delroy Chuck. Delroy Chuck quiet, my wisdom warriors. Too quiet. You understand me? But you see how he stand up and fight for the DPP. But when it come to the Jamaican people, Delroy Chuck now fight for them. And him a justice minister. So you see say these people are not for us. You see that though, Jamaica? These people is not for us. Because you see how much pitney I get grape. You see it over 2,000 pitney I get grape. And Delroy Chuck Say him now punish the graper man them twice. And that him say he now punish them twice because them already do them time. And 99% of the pitney them where I get raped, my wisdom warriors, them the man there, we grape them the pitney there, them already got jail already. And Delroy Chuck say, no one, we the public fi scrutinize the graper man them. So for that reason, him a hold back them file. And that him say, he say now publish them picture. So una tell me if these people are for us. Eh? And una want to give them the people there another term? Jamaica, think. Think. Me a beg una, think. All right. Anyway, my wisdom warriors, may have a piece, a video there when me want to watch. Andre interview Dayton Campbell, and also Isat is there, so I want to just listen keenly and put on an honest opinion in the comment section. Hear this.
Legislation, anti-gang legislation, that those measures would be able to curtail the crime situation. They didn't do that. They ran fast and loose with the Constitution, just detaining people and displacing criminals. And then the same Prime Minister comes on to say that in a quiet rural village in St. Elizabeth, we're now seeing these heinous crimes. It is because their measures caused the balloon effect. By pushing on one area, all you did was to displace the criminals to another area in the country because they were really not arresting any of them and building any cases against them. They also only focus on crime and fighting crime. They didn't focus on preventing crime. They defunded PMI. They cut out Unite for Change. They didn't do anything to facilitate community policing. The leader of the opposition went further to say, not only are we recommending that you should use normal policing measures, but here is a tool that we are giving to you, that you can spear fish and you can have a court-supervised procedure in place where you can detain these individuals that you know as violence producers, and the court can supervise a procedure where you build evidence against them. And you have to report and show that you indeed have some evidence that you're building against them. This notion that you can just get up and detain mainly poor people, children, and just hold them for these long periods of time without charging them is unconstitutional, and the entire country knew this, right? The significant support that was there for SOE in 2018, where 90% of the population said they supported SOE, that had plummeted to less than 50% by 2020. Wow. So this notion that the population wanted SOEs and they wanted to infringe, abridge, and abrogate their rights is just simply not true. That's a figment of the imagination of the government and the former commissioner of police. Because the best year of the 9 years in government, the best year for this administration is 2024, 1,141 murders without one SOE. And by the way, that best year for them is still worse than 2014 and 2012 under the last PNP administration without any of these measures. So when they boast about the reduction, just know that it's a reduction from the high levels that they brought the crime rate in Jamaica to.
Great Liberator, weeks upon weeks you have warned this government that they're going to pay for what they are doing to the people. Weeks on weeks, Isat, you have said that it's unconstitutional, you are waiting on the ruling, and the Constitutional Court has spoken today. What is your state? What do you want to tell the people of Jamaica who have been detained over those past few years?
Well, the first thing I want to tell them is that the government of Jamaica would have been aware that this judgment was coming. The actions...
No. Having heard what what's his name again? The Attorney General said today.
The Attorney General is probably the only sane and competent person on that side when it comes to legal realities. Let me put it that way. There used to be an Attorney General, and they gave her a whole ministry to go and research. So you need to be aware of that, and that's why the people of Montego Bay is saying she need to come out. But we don't need to get in all of that. What I want people to understand is in 2020, and people can Google it, there was an article where I said release the men or face legal action. And shortly after that, the Prime Minister had to call the election because he had to stop the state of emergency and immediately call the election to be ahead of the judgment, because the court was going to rule in the Everton Douglas case that the states of emergencies and the detention in particular was unlawful. Even after that, there were the people, the political analysts, one of them owned a pharmacy, not a black person, gets up and says, listen, they never rule the state of emergency unconstitutional, and hence don't take our GenSec lightly. He has legal acumen. He just has another profession that is a traditional profession, that he's a doctor, but he's a lawyer too. You know, just don't bother shackle himself under the practicing certificates and things. But just understand that competence reigns on the PNP side, and good sense prevails. They won't apologize. They're embarrassed. They will go down in history as serial constitutional breaching government. They are completely unfit to participate in constitutional reform, and that has always been my position. But note to the Jamaican public, young men, parents of young men who possibly have lost their lives, you do have standing to get your compensation. Do it now, because the government of the day will not be the government of tomorrow. So
your advice is that for all those persons between 2018 to 2023, they have standing to go in the court and to do what? Explain that process for them.
Get their compensation for the wrongful detention. Just remember, I can there are two lawyers I know, John Clark, Isat Buchanan. If you know those two young attorneys, well, not so young again, one of them, but if you know them, there are a plethora of cases that the court has not ruled on, and the judgments or the cases has not been heard as yet. So the court is inundated with filings from the large amount of wrongful detentions, and the statistics from the state of emergencies to date, very few convictions would have come from the detentions of the state of emergency. The net fishing was never working. When the opposition leader took the reins of the People's National Party, he never participated, and he would speak out against the continued detention, and he stood his ground and said he was certainly not supporting it, and that led to the Dayton Campbell judgments that you heard today.
But Dr. Campbell, with the state of the economy, and with so many Jamaicans who were wrongfully incarcerated and detained in this country, if all of those are to be paid out right now, we're going to be in a serious bangarang.
It is going to be a heavy call on the purse, and that's a part of the reason why I'm saying to the government, as opposed to have this knee-jerk response and trying to take shame out of their eyes by saying that they're going to appeal, I think they should desist from doing that, because that is just going to waste time and resources. They know, despite the incompetencies, they know that what's going on in relation to the crime situation in Jamaica would not constitute detention according to Section 20 of the Constitution. They know that, right? Any average Jamaican that you ask, if their father, their grandfather have bossy, right? If it is an emergency, if he has it for over years, it's not, unless something changes, right? But you can't come and say a chronic situation that is there, that you're just going to treat it to say that it's an emergency. An emergency, by definition, is not something that would be going on for any prolonged period of time. And what is outlined in the Constitution certainly did not apply. They went even further to try and blur the separation of powers by circumventing the parliament and
Yeah.
just serially announcing an SOE, allow it to expand and just re-announce another one. And so there are several persons who are now in a position where they can seek damages from the government in a civil suit. And I think that this government, despite the Prime Minister continuously going on platforms to suggest that the government is managing the economy and they are not borrowing any resources, that is also a lie. The economy of the country is certainly not in a position to absorb any mass amount of persons taking the government to court. And remember, we're also being sued by the Prime Minister himself as well. The country is just being battered by different persons. And I really believe that the government, knowing that they were on shaky ground, should really just accept the judgment and move forward with proper policing measures to ensure that we can get a control over the murders in the country and the killings. And if we were able to bring murders to 105 in 2014, still wasn't low enough, because I would want to see a Jamaica where we get it down to 100 or even less, right? But if we're able to bring it down to 1005 without using any of those measures, with about 10% of the budget that they have now, and that's just because we had the will and we wanted to do it. Policy makes a difference. Who is in charge makes a difference. And that is the reason why the country has been called on, is going to be called on in coming months or weeks to make a decision. And I think the obvious decision is going to be that we cannot continue any further with a government that does not respect the Constitution. Certainly we cannot have a government that has been seen to serially breach the Constitution, be the persons who are leading the reform process of that Constitution. It's ridiculous. The thought of it is ridiculous. The change in the composition of the Senate that they want to do will ensure that the opposition cannot protect the people of the country through the parliament. And they will say, no, that's not what they're doing because they are independent senators. But those independent senators are going to be appointed by the same Governor General that this administration has asked to declare these SOEs. So when the time comes to vote for an extension, where do we think they're going to vote? You know, people have to remember that we got to a point where even members of the private sector were lobbying parliamentarians to vote for the SOE.
True.
Right? That's where we got to. The opposition was hammered, and we stood our ground because we stood on principle. And we have been vindicated by this decision, and we're also vindicated by the fact that murders are trending down without any states of emergency.
But murders trending down without state of emergencies, but at the end of the day, the police are really doing some serious harm to the citizens of this country. It's no more shootout, but
I'm actually looking at that as well. So what I'm looking at is the number of killings in Jamaica, because when a citizen kills somebody, kills another citizen, it's a murder. When a police kills a citizen, it's an extrajudicial killing. So as opposed to look at murder versus extrajudicial killing, what I'm looking at is the number of killings in Jamaica, right? So you add the two, so you can see whether or not there is a serious decline, right? Because if you add the extrajudicial killings to the current murder rate in Jamaica, you will realize that you actually don't have any serious reduction from last year. There's certainly been a reduction from where they carried it to, right? To that absurd number where it was up in the 1600. There's certainly been a reduction from there. But a part of the reason why it went up there was because Bobby Montague was made Minister of National Security, was promoted above his competence. He went on talking about he's not afraid of anyone. His uncle is an Obia man. We ordered used car for the police. I don't buy used car for myself. And my vehicle is parked when I'm at work. The police vehicle is being used 24/7 on different shifts, responding to different calls. And they decided to buy used cars, and they did not deliver them. So not only that, they had a bad policy to buy them.
Dr. Campbell is pooping up. They currently have buses like that in Portland. So I see where you're going with that.
Aldbrook. Yeah, Aldbrook. Right. Yes. So, the part of the reason why it went to 1,600 odd is because of the policies of the government. Let's not be coy about that. It is the policies of the Andrew Holness-led government that caused the murder rate to go to where go up to where it did. And that is the reason why Andrew Holness has the distinction of being the prime minister that the most murders has taken place under his watch.
Yes,
in a 5-year period. The most murders. The person that comes in second is Bruce Golding. And Andrew Holness was a senior member in that cabinet as well. So this notion that the Labour Party is strong on crime and that they're doing better is simply not true. Just look at the numbers. The most murders. When you put the murders over the 5-year period, add them up, divide it by 5, Andrew Holness comes out as the one with the highest. The second highest is Bruce Golding. So I was asked earlier if we give any credit to the Minister of National Security for the reduction, and I'm saying absolutely not. It was that minister that defunded PMI. It was that minister, that government that cut out Unite for Change. It is that government that ordered used cars and didn't even deliver them. It is a failed administration when it comes on to the management of crime. And because they stuck a knife 8 inches into our box and they have pulled it out by 4 inches, does not mean that we think they should be praised for that.
Mr. Buchanan, if you were called by the outgoing Prime Minister of Jamaica to give him legal advice, because those who are amongst him really are failing him, because he's arguing at this time that he plans to appeal the ruling. As a learned, constitutional, grounded attorney, what would you tell the Prime Minister if you were his counsel?
I would tell him to fix the prison so that when he goes in there, he certainly will have humane conditions to live in. But
what else would you tell him?
The next thing I would tell him is insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different results. Quoting Einstein, so nobody should kill me for that. The government appealed the Everton Douglas decision and there was nothing to appeal. Having read the judgment, there's absolutely nothing that the government can appeal and they're wasting taxpayers' money. It's the irony of it. But I can tell you this. The appeal is just a strategy because if you make an appeal, you don't have to pay out right away. The cost order alone, because I can tell you this, Delroy Chuck appealed the cost order in the Everton Douglas matter, and it's still before the court. So they don't pay me my millions that they owe me for Everton Douglas, nor have they paid the other lawyers that were a part of that case. So I'll say this right now. They're so incompetent on that side, they're going to lose. And when they lose, it's not coming out of their pocket. There's no mechanism that it won't cost them anything to pontificate and do their usual PR strategy. But this is big people business now. So I see a new senator on the live, if it is even him, looking stupid as usual. And I'm saying it that way because people have been telling them, you cannot cause state of emergencies. Respect the Constitution. That's all that's being asked. Respect the Constitution. Apologize. Going to say you're going to appeal the judgment is saying you have no regard for the Constitution. And the Constitution is the done of all dones. So bro God and him 1 foot of clocks. He has his internal issues. And the reality of it is he has always gotten bad legal advice, or he thinks that his doctorate that he did in criminology or whatever else he did, it's still not law, and he needs to wheel and come again. That's serious. And lastly, the people of Jamaica are to understand that they should never compromise their constitutional rights, and it could happen to them. Those who wanted the states of emergencies are knocking on the doors of lawyers like myself and John Clark, Alessandra Labiche, and Iqbal Cheveria. I'm calling these names because before they didn't know that police could go into their houses and kill their family members.
My wisdom warriors, wanna hear that? I saw me I left it, Wanna tell me what you think? Put on an honest opinion in the comment section. Like up the video, share it out, and subscribe to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Big up on a nice clean self. One love.
Oh, no go on the first promise. On the things that we are putting back in the office. On the things that we are novice. On the better listen to this. Vote them out, cause them not see we when we hungry. Vote them out from Kingston to country. Vote them out, cause when they win them a go dump way. We have to tell them promptly, people just vote them out, cause them not see we when we hungry. Vote them out from Kingston to country. Vote them out, we have to tell them promptly, cause when they win them a go dump way. Marky G, you know you the people them really want to see a great leader who will talk to we. Put on the boat and go, they go walk to we. Yes, go march to we, because we have some guy with them on a intention, leading the country in the wrong direction. That's why we come to make we own a selection. This we are gonna do a wedding call the election. Vote them out, cause them not see we when we hungry. Vote them out from Kingston to country. Vote them out, cause when they win them a go dump way. So we a tell them promptly, people just vote them out, cause them not see we when we hungry. Vote them out from Kingston to country. Vote them out, cause when they win them a go dump way. We have to tell them